Wealthy folks work to buy assets. Middle class and poor folks work for money. Big difference. See, if you know these three things I'm about to talk with you about today, then it'll make a big difference in your financial life. Let's start with assets versus liabilities. Remember when I said wealthy people work for assets? The reason wealthy people work for assets is because they don't have to trade time for money. Once they build an asset and that asset generates income, passive income, they can kick back and do whatever they want to do. Where on the other end, with middle class and poor folks who don't know how to buy assets, have never been taught to buy assets, because remember, they don't teach you any of this stuff in school. What they teach you in school is to do what? Get a job. So 99% of the population, that's what they do. That's what they know, how to get a job and work for money. Whereas the 1% of the wealthiest people in this country have learned that you work for assets, because assets will create passive income. So therefore you can go out and do the things that are most important to you. So you got to understand that concept about assets, guys. If we get that, then it opens up a whole new world for us. Let's talk about liabilities. See, most people believe their home is an asset, but in actuality, your home is really a liability. Why do I say that? Well, think about it. Think about it. I purchased this home, right? Every year, I have to reach in my pocket. I have to pay property taxes. Right? I got to pay property insurance. If I went out and got a loan to purchase my house, I got to make mortgage payments, right? So I got to set money aside for repair and maintenance, right? Because think about it, these houses, man, stuff wears out on them. Air conditioner units, you may got to get new plumbing, new electrical, new roof. Who knows? So even though we believe our house is an asset, in actuality, while we're living in it, it's really a liability. And how can we tell the difference, right? Well, see, an asset puts money in your pocket, or at least it should, whereas liabilities take money out of your pocket. That's really the difference, in my opinion. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out of your pocket, right? The third thing I want to talk to you about is what? Cash flow. See, cash flow is important, guys. That is those two words, cash flow. Man, is a beautiful thing. Now, where do you get cash flow from? Right? Cash flow comes from assets. Cash flow can come from your job, right? Now, there are two forms of cash flow, though. You have active cash flow, which I typically call income, and then I have passive cash flow. So active cash flow comes from me trading time for money. I go to my job, I put 8 hours in, they pay me a wage for those 8 hours. Problem is, I don't get that cash flow unless I give them that 8 hours. So that's active income. Whereas on this side, passive income is I have an asset, piece of real estate that produces income, stock market portfolio that throws off dividends, a business that throws off dividends, right? Or distributions, right? That is passive income, because that's work I did one time and I don't have to worry about it anymore. See, when I go out and buy a piece of real estate for income and I put a tenant in it, I did a little bit of work, but now for a whole year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, as long as that tenant stays there and pays rent, I'm going to continue to get that passive income, right? Whereas that active income, like I said, if I decide not to get up one morning and go to work, guess what? They're not going to pay me. Because it requires me to give them something in order to get something. I got to give them my time in order to get that check. So when we're thinking about building wealth, we got to think like the 1%. We got to think like the 1%. We have to work, right, to build assets, to buy assets, not just work for money. So when we're out here earning on this job or in our business or whatever we do to earn income, we got to start taking that income, guys, and investing it in assets that actually create passive income, that actually create passive cash flow. That's what we got to do, because none of us want to work for the rest of our life. I hope not. I certainly don't, right? See, for 25 years, I worked for money, but I was smart enough to understand how to take that money and invest it in assets that would create passive cash flow or passive income. So I was smart enough, because when I was young, 26 years old, I read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, where he talked about some of these things. Assets versus liabilities. He talked about cash flow. He talked about OPM, borrowing other people's money, basically borrowing money from the banks and taking that money and utilizing that money to multiply it, right? And make more money with the bank's money. All of those things he talked about. He talked about buying real estate for income and how to use that real estate to reduce my tax liability. Bunch of things like that just opened up my whole world. And also, one other thing he taught me was that you should never work for money. You should work to learn, right? So when I was working in banking for 25 years, obviously I was getting a check, but really I was there trying to learn a skill set that I could then at some point take that skill set and create and multiply more money to buy more assets. Understand assets versus liability. Understand cash flow. Understand that the only way you control, guys, 100% of your financial destiny, only way you control 100% of your time is when you build assets, and then those assets generate enough passive income or passive cash flow to take care of you. That's when the world opens up for you and you're able to do whatever you want to do. If you want 3 free stocks, Webull is going to give you 3 free stocks when you open a new Webull brokerage account. Put any amount of money in that brokerage account. They're going to give you 3 free stocks for just trying out their brokerage app. There's a link down in the description box of this video. Go click on that Webull link. Open up your new Webull account today. Go get that free stock. Go get that free money. I'm going to also send you a Webull tutorial video to walk you through how to use the Webull app to make your first trade. All you got to do is send me an email. Let me know you've opened the Webull account, and I'm going to send you that free Webull tutorial video. Email address down in the description box of the video. Today's video is sponsored by my company, RF Financial Consulting. And in my company, I work with individuals just like you through financial mentoring and coaching sessions. And in those 1-hour sessions, we talk about strategies to help you get to your financial freedom, whether it be through real estate investing, stock market investing, creating additional streams of income, credit card arbitrage, or starting and growing a business. If that's something that you might be interested in, there's an email address in the description box of the video. Send me an email and let's discuss if I'm the right fit for you.